tomorrow. Secret agent man, secret agent man.
Seek TV. I'm about to get ready to do a very deep breakdown on the whole Nipsey Hussle situation and why this whole theme had to happen. It's not just about the whole aspect of the, alleged faking death and things of that nature. I'm gonna delve deep into what all this stuff really represents. Now, as you see, obviously you don't see no blood first off. A lot of people are already aware of this. You don't see no blood. You obviously see all of the sixes and everything with the with all of the ambulances and everything. And then obviously you see no blood on the white gloves. But what I want to talk about is I've been watching a show called The Game. And I've been finding it very interesting because if you know the show, this show came out, 2013? So, I mean, this show go back to '06. But Lauren London, I think, joined the show like 2013. And if you remember the show, she was obviously like an actress who was like off the radar. People forgot about it. She was an old actress nobody cared about anymore. And then she got with a football player named Blue, who was a rookie. You feel where I'm going? So what I'm gonna delve into on this aspect is I'm gonna play the clip, and I want y'all to really pay attention to this. Now, the guy that she started dealing with on the show, his name was Malik Wright. That was her friend from college. But I'm gonna play the clip and chime on in. Notice the hospital reaction, and notice Malik Wright. Actually, he had got beat up. And I'm gonna play the clip right quick. Just pay attention to this, because he had his friend. He told him that he didn't want him. He ain't need no help, and that he gonna be able to handle it. And actually, on the show, Malik Wright had his own, restaurant and everything, just how Nipsey Hussle had his own clothing store. But just pay attention to this before I show the hospital aspect. Pay attention to this.
Tomorrow, we're gonna kick the business world's ass, brother.
Hell yeah. Much more hetero.
All right, my man, my car is this way, T.
Oh, what? No driver? No bodyguard?
No driver, no bodyguard.
Somebody getting serious, huh?
Come on, man. I told you it's Malik 2.0. Don't...
Now, you see that right there. Now, look, you remember Nipsey obviously didn't have no driver and he didn't have no bodyguard. You feel what I'm saying? When he was alleged shot. You feel where I'm going with this. Now, pay attention. You see how the dude obviously is real beat up. He's real hurt in the hospital. He is near death. And you see how Lauren London is reacting, right? Now, let's go to the situation that happened with Nipsey Hussle when she arrived at the hospital.
That's Laura London. That's Laura London.
You see this? Look at this, y'all. This is like 6 years before. You feel what I'm saying? This is 6 years before. And what I want to delve into on this aspect too is how they said even if Nipsey Hussle would have survived, he would have been paralyzed. Now, I'm going to delve deep into this later on. I want y'all to really remember that part. But what I want to delve into right quick is how his friend, alleged killer, Eric Holder, had the same attorney that prosecuted O.J. Simpson back in '94. And remember, it was the same situation. How they had to prove that he was the killer, etc. You get what I'm saying? And notice the name is Chris, a.k.a. short for Christ. And I'm going to delve into this because when you understand this whole aspect, O.J. Simpson, you remember he played for USC in college, which is University of Southern California, USC. And what I want to talk about on this level too, which literally blew my mind, is you already know O.J. Simpson obviously played for the Buffalo Bills. Now, when you know about the Buffalo Bills, the Bill, aka the Buffalo, when you're familiar with the aspects of the Messiah, in the four living creatures in Revelation, you'll know the bull is one of the forms of the Messiah. Like the royal bull. This is why they have the game of the matador and all of that, because they want to say that they're able to dead the bull. I get into that that's a whole nother video for another day. But what I want to go into on the aspect of O.J. Simpson to keep this thing flowing, he actually was on a TV show called The Ironside back in 1968, where it was called The Price Tag Death on the episode that he was on. Now, what I want to mention on that aspect, which is so deep, is that the aspect was about he was an onlooker, practically like seeing stuff, I guess, happening with people, homeless people coming up dead. A detective was trying to figure it out. But what I want to pay attention to that whole aspect of the price tag death, and then how you already know about the whole situation with O.J. Simpson with the murder, etc. And then notice the Eric Holder with the killing of Nipsey Hussle, and then how he had the same attorney. And I just really wanted to point that out. But what I want to talk about too is UCLA versus USC. You know, University of California. University of College of Los Angeles, and then you have USC. You know, University of Southern California, where OJ played for. And when you know about that game they had back in 1967 before he got drafted in 69, the score that OJ had was 20-21. Now he had got that game winning touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. But when you look at it, the 20, and then you see the number 13 right there while he's doing the run. Now 20 plus 13 is obviously 33. And remember, that's the age that Nipsey Hussle alleged dies. You feel what I'm saying? I'm gonna get into that on why they had to do all of this stuff. But when you look at Eric Holder, what is so crazy, what literally tripped me out, is how he was born November 21st, 1989, right? Now, when you go into Eric Holder, that was Obama's U.S. Attorney General. He was actually nominated by Ronald Reagan to be like he was practically like to be like Superior Court of the District of Columbia. You get what I'm saying? He became like to serve as the judge of that. Now, what I want to talk about, notice how this aspect right here, him being a judge, and how Eric Holder is born a year later. And you see how he's going through the whole aspect of the prosecution in court. You feel where I'm going? And you notice how I said he worked with, Eric Holder, the one who works for Obama as attorney, was his attorney general. Notice how Obama, see how he was tied in with Nipsey Hussle too, because remember he had did the letter to him and all of that. You remember that? And when you go to, you remember the song Nipsey Hussle had with YG called F Donald Trump. All these celebrities all played a role in like basically praising the Obama because of the role in his life that he's playing. You feel what I'm saying? But notice how YG on the song, the same song when it's my F Donald Trump, notice why YG has said, he got me appreciating F Donald Trump, we can't be a slave for him. He got me appreciating Obama way more. Pay attention to that. We can't be a slave for Trump, but Obama got me being, appreciating, he got me appreciating Obama way more. Come on, man. When you know about Nipsey Hussle anyway, Nipsey Hussle was from where? Crenshaw. And when you know about the Crenshaw, all it means is nothing but the crane. And you already know, as it's written anyway, that the Messiah should be risen up. Because if you know Nipsey Hussle's real name, his real name literally don't mean nothing but God will rise in a hurry, man. That's all his name means. To hurry up, God will rise in a hurry. And I want to delve into that because how he's from Crenshaw. And when you understand Freemasonry, you obviously lift up stones to build what? The Illuminati pyramid. You feel where I'm going with this? So you use that to literally build the pyramid, in the aspect of them being builders. Because I'm going to delve into this right quick, because when you pay attention to it too, notice at the crime scene at the marathon, which is very deep right here, because all the marathon aspect represents is nothing but like, you have the Greek god aspect, but I'm going to delve into the whole theme of how he was playing a Messiah role. And as it's written in Matthew 27:32, and they came out and found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name, him that compelled to bear his cross. He was the one who helped carry the Messiah's cross. You feel where I'm going? And notice why you have the aspect of the marathon and the victory lap, because that represents nothing but the return. Now, when you understand this whole thing, pay attention to the insurance, because when you know about the aspect of the insurance, that represents nothing but the protection. And then when you pay attention to it too, notice you got T-Mobile and Boost Mobile right by the Marathon store. Now, if you know about the Boost Mobile, remember Boost Mobile back then was owned by who? It was owned by Sprint. Hence the whole aspect of the victory lap and the marathon. And when you know about the Sprint anyway, remember it had merged with T-Mobile. Remember that. The aspect of, it merged with T-Mobile. You remember Boost Mobile was literally on the was literally owned by Sprint for a time until like Sprint merged, with T-Mobile. And I'm gonna delve into that right quick. because you remember they already talked about anyway, the victory lap will continue. Hint the whole aspect of what they're trying to say, because they're trying to say that they're going to keep this kingdom going, because Nipsey Hussle played a Messiah role, that they saying, okay, we kill the Messiah again and again. This whole thing, kill him through the energy aspect and make people worship the false idols, and therefore we'll keep our kingdom flowing. And I'm going to delve into this in a minute, because what I want to talk about is, if you notice the Marathon clothing store, remember when the Messiah was crucified, what did they do? They casted and divided his garments and sold him. Remember that. So what I want to talk about right quick is, when you understand the name, the guy who allegedly killed him, named Eric Holder, you know, Eric don't mean nothing but everlasting eternity. So hint the aspect of holding. You feel where I'm going? Holding. So that's their way of trying to say that they're holding off, and they're, preventing the eternal ruler, aka the Messiah, to come into fruition. This is why they had to do this whole thing. And what I want to talk about too, this is why they said that, obviously a Crip, pay attention to that, a Crip kills Nipsey Hussle, even though you already know Nipsey was a Crip himself, but notice a Crip kills Nipsey Hussle, because when you understand the aspect of the Crip, it all comes from what? The skull and bones aspect, hint the Masonic blue. And why the Crips wear the blue? Because Crip, aka cripple. You see where I'm going with this, and aka the skull and bones. Pay attention to the leg cross, because that represents nothing but them trying to say they paralyzing the Messiah. Hint why they said anyway, if Nipsey Hussle was to survive, he would have been in a wheelchair. You feel where I'm going with this? You see what I'm saying right here? This stuff is all in our face. And you notice why Nipsey Hussle too, why they said that he was hailed as a peacemaker by LAPD, because when you understand the aspect of the peacemaker, and when you understand the aspect of the law, law enforcers, if you know about the Messiah anyway, what is he? You know what I mean? You have the law of the Most High. You feel where I'm going? This is why they use the Black Lives Matter and the defund the police, because realistically, like on a symbolic level, when they're saying that the Black Lives Matter, defund the police, all that's saying is take away the law so we can do what thou wilt. Therefore, darkness shall rule over the world. Therefore, Black Lives Matter. That's what the whole theme is all about. But it's just about who has the eye to see and the ears to hear. Because if you remember scripture as it's written, the Most High clearly say that that Israel is a stiff-necked people. You feel where I'm going with this? So I really want to delve into this, because remember what I've been talking about. When you pay attention to how they already said that Nipsey Hussle would have been paralyzed, right? Now what I want to delve into right quick is when you understand the whole aspect. Remember when I was talking about the marathon aspect. And you remember I was talking about the T merging with the sprint, aka the victory lap, right? And when you pay attention to the T-Mobile T, when you pay attention to that, all that represents is them saying that they beheading the Messiah from being, coming into head position. They preventing him from coming into head position. How? By keeping a capstone missing. You see this right here. You feel where I'm going? Because all that represents is them trying to say that they're taking the Messiah from coming into the headstone and from coming into being empowered. Hint, Psalms 118:22, the stone which the builders refuse is the headstone, become the headstone of the corner. Meaning like the Messiah is the stone that the Masons refuse to build with. So this is why they had to do the whole aspect of Nipsey Hussle. If he would have survived, he would have stayed, basically if Nipsey Hussle would have survived, he would have stayed paralyzed. He would have been paralyzed. And pay attention to that whole aspect of like I was talking about them being the builders. Remember I was saying how he's from Crenshaw, which means the crane, aka the Lewis, which lifts the stones. You feel where I'm going with this? All in our face every time. And I'm actually gonna play a clip right quick of the song Victory Lap. Listen to what he's saying. I'm gonna prove my point.
Man, we in Tulum at the Mayan ruins. Just climbed off the pyramid, got to the top, seen the
You hear that?
whole jungle, shooting a victory lap video.
Like I just said, he said we made it to the top of the pyramid, right? But that whole aspect, that's why it was the victory lap. That whole aspect represented them taking the Messiah away from becoming into being a headstone. They're trying to prevent it as much as possible by resetting the time, fooling the people, and etc. Because Nipsey Hussle, obviously at the end of the song, at the end of the song, remember he was obviously riding on what? He was clearly riding. He was riding around on a boat, walking in the beach, man. Practically saying that that he's living in a new life. That he played his role and his time is done. So when you pay attention to all of this stuff, it all comes into fruition. Because what I want to talk about too, pay attention. Remember I was talking about the aspect of the dude getting beat up. Pay attention to this. It's in the parking lot. Remember when I was talking about the show earlier, and all Malik Wright mean anyway, you know how I said Nipsey Hussle real name don't mean nothing but God will rise in a hurry. Malik Wright, all Malik Wright means is Malik means king and Wright means son of the carpenter. Who is the carpenter, aka the Messiah? You feel where I'm going with this? The carpenter is nothing but the Messiah. And when you pay attention to this right here, which is so deep, and what I want to talk about is obviously if you know about Nipsey Hussle, you would know he was Egyptian. Just listen to this.
Have you been back to Africa? I know next in January they're going to have a big World Social Forum in Kenya. You might go out to that. And what's the scene like over there on the hip hop team?
Man, they loving it, homie. That really opened my eyes to how global and worldwide hip hop has become.
You feel what? So we already know Nipsey Hussle is from, he's Egyptian. And when you know about this is why they had to make him play the role of dying at 33. Remember, the Messiah was crucified in 33 AD at the age of 33, which represents nothing but the high level of Christ consciousness. And when you understand Hosea 11:1 as it's written, when Israel was a child, then I loved him and called my son out of Egypt. You feel where I'm going? Because if you know about the time we're in now, we're clearly in spiritual Egypt, spiritual Babylon, spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah. Hence why Revelation 11:8 says, their bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's why he said we reached the top of the pyramid. Because when he said that was their way of saying, okay, look, we took, he reached the top of the pyramid. We're going to keep knocking him off so that we can stay on top. This is why they had the Crip crucify another, Crip aspect with Eric Holder and Nipsey Hussle, the Crip, because the crippling of, the skull and bones. Remember, the Messiah was crucified in the land of Golgotha. And what I want to delve into right quick too is, if you know Nipsey Hussle, he got his name from Nipsey Russell. And Nipsey Russell, remember, he used to be on the Pyramid Game show. And, the whole object was reaching the top of the pyramid. You know what I'm saying? If you know about Nipsey Russell, you feel where I'm going with this. And I'm actually going to play some more clips to keep this thing flowing. Because everything that was on this show called The Game, Nipsey Hussle was doing in Predictive programming. Let's play the clip and chime in. Attention to this. This is Malik punching a dude in a wheelchair. Pay attention to this. You see what I'm saying? And notice Nipsey Hussle, remember his friend had got shot alongside him, they said, and that he was confined to a wheelchair. Notice how Malik punched the dude in the wheelchair. And you remember, and on the show too, it was an episode, remember Malik had to go through rehab because he was incarcerated for assaulting a cop and DUI. Remember, he had to go to rehab. Hence, Nipsey Hussle had the DUI arrest. Come on, man. And what I want to delve into with Nipsey Russell, his birthday, he's from Atlanta, and his birthday was September 15th, 1918, right? And, the guy who plays Malik Wright, his name is Hosea. You see what I'm saying? Remember, I was just reading the book of Hosea anyway about the son called out of Egypt, but his name is Hosea. He's born September 12th, and he's from Alabama, which is right by Atlanta. Notice how Nipsey Russell is the 15th, and he's the 12th. And actually, I had put in my last video when Nipsey Russell died in 2005, October 2nd. Next thing you know, Nipsey Hussle came out with his first mixtape. I think it was like December 2005. So it was right after his death. After Nipsey Russell's death. Let's keep this thing flowing some more. If you pay attention to this right here too, notice how Nipsey Hussle was with Lauren London, and she's both in all white. and they got the white horse. Now, when you pay attention to this, you can go in the aspect, like I said, with the Greek gods, with the Selene goddess and all of that. But like I said, he was playing a Messiah role. This happened like right before he allegedly dies, March 31st. And when you know about March 31st, anyway, that's the week of what? Of like the week before of the Good Friday, like the last week of the Messiah on earth before resurrection. And when you pay attention to this, notice you got the white horse. Remember, the Messiah will ride on the right horse. And you remember you have the light pole over there. And when you pay attention to that light pole, remember on the far right, right behind Lauren London, when you pay attention to the light pole, let me delve into this right quick. Pay attention to that light pole right behind her. Let's go back to regulate with the G. And you see the 21st and Lewis Avenue with Warren G. And you see obviously the G for Freemasonry. Notice the blue anyway, even though they say Crip, but notice the blue, which is nothing but for what? Masonry. And when you pay attention to that right there, obviously with the light pole, just like the Warren G aspect, the light pole represents nothing but the whole theme of like him being lifted up. Remember I said Crenshaw don't mean nothing but crane. So pay attention to that light pole, and then you got the palm trees, which don't represent nothing but victory. You feel what I'm saying? Victory and the whole aspect of like it's all representing victory in the scripture. When you understand the palm trees and the palm branches, you feel what I'm saying? All represents victory, spiritual victory. This is why they had to wear the all white, and then Lauren London represents the bride being Jerusalem. You feel where I'm going, and them coming in on a chariot and a white horse, bringing in the new earth, new Jerusalem. But what they said was when they killed him, that was their way of saying, okay, look, we'll kill the character, however you want to put it. That's the way of saying, look, we put an end to the Messiah coming into fruition. Therefore, our kingdom can keep going on. Hint the Eric holder. Let's hold the kingdom longer so the Eric, aka eternal ruler, won't come into fruition. Come on, man. Let's keep this thing flowing. I was talking about the show The Game. Remember Lauren London is the one who replaced Tia Mowry. Remember Tia Mowry was on The Game. You feel where I'm going with this? Remember Lauren London was the one to come in and replace Tia Mowry. You know what I'm saying? And when you pay attention, I'm going to play the clip right quick because those, oh man, you know, you just going far-fetched. I'm going to play this clip right quick. This is Kobe Bryant, man. You feel what I'm saying? This is 1996. And this is episode where it's called Kidnap. I'm going to show you the clip and chime on in. This is actually episode 6. Hint the aspect of 6. So let me play the clip and chime in.
Kobe's here to shoot a commercial for Daddy.
And you see what I'm saying? It's about a party going on, right? And they wanted to compete with the girl who had Kobe. So what they did, they ended up getting Kid from Kid and Play. Now notice on this show, Kid and Play is dead. He's like playing dead because they gave him something like, I think they gave him a drug or something, and he drunk something that put him to sleep and he wouldn't wake up. Let's play the clip and chime in. Pay attention to this.
Oh man, he's out for long? Put it this way.
And hint, Kid name anyway is nothing. Kid's name anyway ain't nothing but Christopher. So when you pay attention to that, Christopher, aka Christ. Remember the whole aspect of the Christ being with Chris Darden. Remember when I was talking about that with Eric Holder, lawyer. Let's play this right quick.
Oh man, he's out for long? Put it this way. Mom gave me a spoonful once, and I missed half the 3rd grade.
Hey, listen up, man. Meet the chill man.
Pay attention.
That guy's supposed to be the life of our party. Oh, and he's gonna be. Ready?
You see that right there? All of that representing nothing but the whole theme of the predictive programming that Kobe was going to end up dying down the line. You see how he had to be on the same episode where the death, you know, represented supposed to be the life of the party. And when you pay attention to this, what I want to elaborate on right quick, and I'm going to get deep on y'all right quick. You remember Nipsey Hussle was dealing with the whole theme of the Dr. Sebi. I got a video on Dr. Sebi. You can I'm going to put in the link below. You can check it out. But the Dr. Sebi aspect, I don't like really mentioning the whole theme going on, but what you know about the Greek gods, I was mentioning how Dr. Sebi had a role of playing, I forgot the god name, but basically he was a god who was healing people from hell, and he was, you know, envied by the god of hell named Hades. So what Hades did was he sent men to kill him, right? Yeah, her son name was Asclepius. That's I'm gonna get into that right quick in a minute. But basically what happened was he was healing the people, Asclepius was healing the people, and what happened was Hades was jealous, so he had ended up killing him because he was taking all the people away from, suffering and everything, which was Hades' power. And when you understand that, it's like Dr. Sebi, when they had all the celebrities saying they were getting healed, and I had show all it, like I saw put the clip below, but when you pay attention to it, Dr. Sebi, how they say he was healing everybody and all of this. So the pharmaceutical companies killed him. Every celebrity who was high profile, whose chapter in the Hollywood script was coming to an end, they ended up dying when they went to go see Sebi. You know what I'm saying? And when you pay attention to that, or any time bringing them up exactly, in any type of way practically. But when you understand that, it was so deep because how Kobe, remember when Kobe dies, you have obviously the big thing going on, the sick thing going on, and then you had the George Floyd do the one world order aspect of the one, everybody coming together protesting globally. And what I want to mention is how that whole aspect of Nipsey Hussle, and when he allegedly dies, then the Kobe the next year, and then all this stuff goes down. You feel where I'm going? And when you understand that, when I was going back to the Dr. Sebi aspect, the mother of the god that was healing people, her name was Coronis. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you pay attention to that name. You feel what I mean? I'm gonna leave that right there. But all of this stuff, right, is all in our face, man. That these things that these people be doing, because all it is like I said, is to literally kill the Messiah role, keep the kingdom suppressed. That's why the George Floyd "I can't breathe," because that represented nothing but the whole aspect of keeping the kingdom from rising. Remember I said Nipsey Hussle's name don't mean nothing but God will rise. Hence why they did the whole aspect of "I can't breathe" with the foot on the neck, knee on the neck. You feel what I'm saying? So the kingdom won't rise up. Because when you understand the whole aspect as it's written, Israel, the Most High's people, are stiff-necked people. So when you understand this whole theme, all that represents is nothing but them trying to keep us stiff-necked. So what? So the Messiah, when your neck has a crook in it, it's hard to move, man. And it's easy to decapitate. So all that represents is them trying to keep us beheaded, keep us headless, and keep us without a head, aka the Messiah coming to rulership. Hence the whole aspect of Eric Holder, man. And the whole victory lap theme. And I'm actually going to end that right here. Thank you for watching Hide and Seek TV. Much more is coming. Peace.